So we are on the road between Golden Spike National Monument and Spiral Jetty. And this is kind of a broad, flat area where we can see things in a lot of directions. And if we remember, last week on Field Trip Friday, we were looking at basalt flows that we could see out on the tip of Spiral Jetty. And we went through how we identify a basalt and what its texture is going to look like and how we can tell that it was formed through a volcanic eruption. So now what we're going to look at is maybe where did that basalt flow come from? And so behind me, what we can see in kind of the mid skyline is a nice broad sloping feature. And so this is a shield volcano. And so shield volcanoes form as we are bringing basalt up to the surface. Remember, basalt has a relatively high viscosity, which means a low viscosity, which means it is easy for it to flow. Viscosity as a term, right, is resistance to flow. So things that have a high viscosity are things like molasses. Low viscosity is like water. And so when we're thinking about basalt is a low viscosity lava. So it flows easily, and that's a characteristic of mafic lava flows. They are higher temperature, and they flow easily. As a part of that, they're also non-explosive. And so again, what these do is they kind of bubble out to the surface, they flow over these broad surfaces, and they generate these shield-type features in the landscape. And so as for how this particular shield volcano got here, right, we're sitting in Utah, and this is a relatively young volcano. It's only about 5 million years old. And geologically speaking, 5 million years is not very old. That's pretty recent. And where we are located in Utah is we are in the middle of the North American plate. So this is what we call intra-plate volcanism. So we're not at a plate boundary. We are within the plate, and we're getting volcanism within the plate. So now we want to think about how do we generate volcanism within a plate? We do that commonly through hotspots. And our own local hotspot here is the Yellowstone volcano system. So Yellowstone is a big mantle plume that comes up to the surface. As we go through time, that mantle plume is stationary and the plate is moving over it. The plate is moving towards the the northeast, and so it's leaving a trail behind it. That trail is the Snake River Plain. And in some places coming off the Snake River Plain, we had other little volcanic zones that formed. And so this is a volcano that is not exactly on the Yellowstone hotspot track, but it came from that same big magma reservoir. And so most of that magma kind of goes straight up towards the surface. Some of it takes the long way around, and it finds other pathways up through the crust. And so we have a number of different locations where we have volcanic activity in Utah that is associated with the Yellowstone hotspot system, even though the main centers of that, especially about 5 million years ago, were up in the central portion of the Snake River Plain. We still have volcanism today, right? Yellowstone is an active volcano, and that is an active geologic hazard for us here in Utah, are the big explosive styles of eruption that we can get at Yellowstone. In between those big explosive eruptions, we get these basaltic, kind of mellower, more effusive styles of eruptions, and that's what generates the flat, broad area of the Snake River Plain, and it generates features like this, stratovolcanoes in our landscape.